Just to prove to you, Ollie, this is what we used to get up to at night. Now I'm going in here and I'm going to start making a circle for you.
Right. I'll be interested.
I'm sure you will. Now we used to lay the stick down there like that, look.
Artist Doug Bauer claims he was behind the first hoaxed crop circles in Britain. Unknown to his wife, he and a friend decided to try to fool people that UFOs were landing. All they needed to flatten the corn was a plank and a rope. To begin with, their designs were simple, but they soon progressed to ever more complicated patterns.
Well, this was the most difficult part of all when we decided to do these designs, was how to create a completely straight line in the dark across a cornfield. It was no good following the tram lines because they would say that human beings were doing it, and we didn't want them to believe that. So I punched a hole in this baseball cap, threaded some wire through it, and this little ring that you can see here, and you walk into the field, and against the evening sky, which is then not quite dark in the summertime, you can get a silhouette of a tree on the horizon, or perhaps the farmer's cottage. He might be in bed with the light still on, and you could centre this through this ring, walk straight towards it, and lo and behold, you've got the lovely straight line that you could wish for. And then, of course, as the footmarks were placed into the corn in the straight line, we would come behind it and tread it down 4 feet wide. So all our corridors were created in that way. Well, the so-called diehards, the so-called professionals, wouldn't believe our story at all. Now, do you believe me, Eileen?
Oh, yes.
Look how it's growing.
Yes, it is, increasing by 8 foot every time you go around.
Yes. So I wasn't up to anything at night, as you see, only this.
Well, you were. What you're doing now?
No one suspected hoaxes when more than 90 circles appeared in Wales. The mountainsides were too inaccessible. The lines of rings stretched for hundreds of metres, but when excited researchers contacted the landowner about the phenomenon, Sir Andrew Duff Gordon had disappointing news.
Well, they were very disappointed when I told them that they were man-made, and I told them the reasons why we'd done it, which was because we have such very wet springs in Wales. We couldn't burn the heather that year, and so we decided to try an experiment and cut some circles on the hill. Well, the young grouse need young heather to feed on when they're very small, and if you can't burn the heather, which is obviously the best way of doing it, you have to cut the heather to hope to regenerate the young heather coming up, which is much more palatable to the small grouse.
I did think it was very funny, considering I made the marks for Sir Andrew, you know, cut them for his grouse, like. I did think it was very funny then, but, you know, with everybody were saying, you know, oh, you know, it was all UFOs and all those sorts of things, like, you know, it was quite different.
Many crop circle groups believe that there are still mysteries to solve. These investigators hope to discover whether grain gleaned from the flattened wheat has in some way acquired special properties.
How much did you say we needed, Sheila? 8 ounces.
The ultimate test is to bake bread from these ears and compare it with loaves made from corn conventionally harvested from outside the circle. To carry out the experiment, they've turned to the British baking industry's own research laboratories on the outskirts of London. Whatever its hidden properties, the grain must be turned into bread by conventional methods. Each loaf is baked to the same recipe to ensure the test is fair. Two of the harvesters have come to take part in the experiment.
I have a background in science and I've always been interested in food chemistry. So I'm rather interested to see whether the whatever force created the crop circles has in fact altered anything in the wheat. Well, they smell good and they look normal.
Normal, yes.
This is standard commercial type bread flour.
They're comparing the taste of 3 loaves, one commercially produced, one from outside the circle, and the other from right in the middle.
This across, so make sure you're tasting the crumb, not just the crust.
This is outside the crop circle.
That's outside the crop circle, yeah. Is that inside the crop circle?
Yes.
Oh, quite different.
I wouldn't recommend this as a...
The bread from inside the crop circle proves to be far from magic. It has none of the qualities of a good English loaf in texture and especially in taste.
You find a different taste there.
Yeah.
It is. There's a musty aftertaste.
It must have to taste, yeah.
And there's a real bite to the tongue.
Tang. Don't think you can even feed the ducks with this.
I believe that crop circles began as a rare and little understood natural phenomenon, which was then adopted by mystics and hoaxers. But as much more complicated designs appeared, I began to joke that they were hoaxes made by feeble-minded extraterrestrials. Well, there are still a couple of questions left unanswered. How do the hoaxers get away with it? And why aren't hospitals overflowing with them, peppered with buckshot by angry farmers?
But nothing will put off the truly committed hoaxers. Strangely, they too feel the circles have life-enhancing powers. But they're certain these come not from other worlds, not from paranormal forces, but from long nights drawing their vast pictures on the sleeping fields of England.
Oh, there's just such a thrill out of it. To see people's face the next day when they can sort of view these formations, being able to sort of enter them, dousing and getting healed, and all these sort of fantastic things like that. When I knew that I was there last night, and it was calm, and you're in a totally different world. It's so peaceful out there, and the shapes that you're sort of creating, they sort of come from within. It's just a good feeling. And it's such a challenge to be able to dream up of these complicated designs and then to see them on paper, all nicely drawn to scale. Then that's the challenge, to get it in the field and it's exactly right. And I get a good buzz out of it. Well, I'm quite impressed by the interest that my circles and other, well, possibly human-made circles cause. Now, the experts go around and they have their fancy techniques. A lot of the times I can end up fooling them into believing that they are actually genuine formations, even though on a couple of occasions I have told them a couple of days afterwards that I actually made it. And I offered them a few ideas as to how I'd done it, and even putting measurements down and drawing diagrams for them. They won't believe it. Well, I was so amazed at the aerial photographs. They look totally different from what I'm viewing on the ground. And to see them, they really are beautiful.